ES in the live session, and this is from a client of mine who was in the early days of scalping. So we're going to see, a little bit, a good trade and a bad trade. Um, so we're going to watch through now. There's some information off the screen as well, some correlations that they're using. Their main correlation on this day is the YM. You should note that you don't necessarily use the same correlation as your main one every day. Sometimes you'll have to change it depending on what seems to be the strongest correlation. The tape, I'm not sure how they're filtering the tape, but generally throughout this session I noticed there's basically 1 or 2 seconds of information. That's good for what we want in terms of in a faster market, we want to be filled within 1 or 2 seconds. In the ES, in the lifetime, you'd want to be filled first or second trade. In a faster market like the NQ, it's basically first time or never. In the ES, it's a little bit slower, a tad slower anyway. So you maybe take the second trade. Basically, from this information, we can see that usually there's around about 250 roughly trading every second or two. So that'll take you roughly where your Q position should be. If we look at the first thing here, the client had an order in. There's not two orders in there, about to put it. They had an order in to buy. If I go back another second. Okay, so if we watch this here, the client's got an order in to buy here. This is the chop conditions. It's not a move. This is a chop. So not as clear cut in terms of direction, but the client wants to trade from the long side. And that's your main thing in the chop. Do I trade the chop from the long or the short? And generally, it's where the value has been moving from. So they're buying below value. Value here is 75 last print. It's been trading generally higher, so they're coming in here. But notice the Q position is not a good one. 240 above, they're 170 here, so they're about 400. That's too far in a Q. So if we wind this forward, they pull it and they go in here. And their Q position here would have been roughly 250, 260 when they went in, which is okay. We're happy with that. They're buying below value. It was trading 75, now 50. 75. Now they're filled. If I just wind it forward. Now this client has automated everything. They're really just trying to get a feel for their entry fills at this point. Okay, so they've automated everything. They're not up to speed necessarily and able to manage it quickly. Personally, I'm not a fan of automating my exit strategies. But this client just wanted to make sure that their entries were in good at this point. So they've set a 3-tick limit order to sell. The stop loss, a number of clients put an automated stop loss, usually just to protect themselves in case there's a quick move. They don't want to lose more than 2 or 3 ticks. Okay, you should still try to manually exit though, rather than use that stop loss. You should be manually trying to get out for a scratch or a 1-tick loss if a trade's not going well. Here the trade rarely goes. I think it might print once through them, but otherwise just comes back and takes them, and they take their 3 ticks. The whole trade in and out is less than 3 seconds. Okay, so this is a decent scalp. They had a good Q position. They worked out the 250, 260. They can get filled within a second or so and be filled within the first 1 or 2 trades. They were filled very quickly. The trade hardly went against them and took them out, and they took their 3 ticks. Go forward a few seconds. They have an order image. They pull. Don't like the fact the cursor's wandering a bit, but finally they come in here. Now they come in and join, here they joined the 75 bid. Now here there's a 1-tick spread, maybe values at 00, that's okay, but they're really just, if they get filled here, they're only going to be really making a tick, right? There's literally just 1 tick of edge. I'm not a fan of trading faster markets just for 1 tick, so that's my first problem with this trade. Second one is technically, so if you wanted to make an extra tick and put in there maybe 2 ticks of fat, you could go 1 tick further away and you'd still get a Q position of about 240, which would still be fine. So personally, I'd probably go the one below. 240 would still get a quick fill if it trades 250 lots every second or so. But I want to have a look at this trade as it plays out. Trades there, 75 there is the first print there. In fact, it traded more than once. We saw 1 print on the DOM, but if you have a look on the time and sales, we can see 2 or 3 trades already. Trades again. Trades again. So now we've seen basically 4 or 5 trades going through at 75 and we're not filled. Sometimes you can easy to get sucked into thinking, look, I'm Q1 on this one, is 48, so I've got a really good Q position now. I'm 49 in the Q now. But remember, we were 81 to begin with when they went into this. 81 is an excellent Q position. You should be filled realistically first time in this market. you may take the second trade, but here it's already traded. If we have a look at the 75 trades, just the ones that we can see, and there are four. There's four just here, and there are a few previously. So there's probably been at least 5 or 6 75 prints. You have not been filled first or second time. I want you to note that if you did get filled first or second time at 75, it's a good trade. You can sell double O's or 25s even. You could have made that 1 or 2 ticks and flipped it quickly. It's already traded 5 or 6 times. We've not been filled. Now filled, and basically the trade goes right through the client and gets stopped out for 2 ticks. Never went in the client's favor here and got out. So the two trades that we just saw, the first and the second, are very different trades. The first one got filled quickly and got exited quickly, in and out within 3 seconds. This second trade was not filled quickly, and the whole problem here was the entry. Notice the first Q position was 260 and got a quick fill. The second Q position was 81 and got a slow fill. And it's important to understand that if if we think that 250 roughly is a good Q position, okay, it doesn't matter if you're 50 or 250. Okay, there's very little difference if it's trading that kind of volume. So getting filled 250 very quickly is better than being 81 and getting filled a bit more slowly. Technically speaking, if this market's trading 250 lots roughly every 1 second or so, then they're both the same. They should both get filled within a second or so. With this second trade, we didn't get filled the first time or the second time. Then we should have pulled the order. As soon as you don't get the first or second trade in a fast market, pull it. And what this does is it shows a couple of things. It shows this, again, like I say in the manual all the time, that market making, when you're trading in that style, you want to be filled quickly, first or second time or never. And we can see here that if you got the first trade there or the second trade, you could have made money. But if you got the fifth trade, you didn't. And if we think about that by going back, that it can't be anything about the level. I don't believe in anything such as levels in this. If you got filled at 75, here, or the one before it, you make money. If you get filled at 75 a bit later, like this person did, you get stuffed. So it can't be anything about 75. It can't be anything to do with that as a level or that price in itself. It's about how you get filled, and that's a key part of what I'm teaching in the manual. Don't look at these markets about levels. Look at them about how did you get filled. Getting filled quickly is more important. That's why your Q position has to be good to start with. Here within 250 roughly is okay, but even his second one was 81, so great Q position technically, but didn't get filled first or second time, so then it's rubbish. You must pull the order. And if you're finding that you've got too many losses in a faster moving market, the most likely reason is usually that you're not pulling enough orders, okay, because you're probably leaving them in that little bit too long. So these are good examples, I think, of showing you not just what a good and bad scalp is, but why. And the second one, you may think I've got great Q position, but you didn't get filled first or second time. So it turns out it's not a good trade.